Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Smackdown. And tonight's Smackdown was held from Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. And of course, this is the go-home show for Smackdown for SummerSlam, which is this Sunday. And I gotta say, tonight's Smackdown, I thought it was a decent show, although wasn't great. Wasn't a great show by any means, though. But it was decent. And the show opened up tonight with Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Carmella coming out. Carmella ends up saying that it's absurd why Paige is putting her in a triple threat at SummerSlam, and her defending the title. And she says that Paige forced her to come out to do a face-to-face with Charlotte and Becky Lynch. And Carmella says she's tired of seeing Charlotte and Becky's faces, and she's tired of constantly being punished for being an amazing champion. Yeah, amazing champion. So, she wants to talk about, something everyone is thinking. And she ends up saying, Becky Lynch doesn't stand a chance now, because Charlotte is put into the title picture now. And she ends up saying, ends up talking crap about Becky, saying that, Becky used to be a clown for a living. And, she ends up saying, Carmella ends up saying, Becky should think about going back, into it, because, it's the one thing she does better than Charlotte. And Becky admits, she'd rather not have, Charlotte in the match, because, Becky just wanted Becky just wanted Carmella one-on-one. And, she's like, she'd rather not have Charlotte. Becky was like, she'd rather not have Charlotte in a match, but only because, Charlotte is an incredible athlete. And she says, Becky says, she has been losing sleep, about, dismantling Carmella. And she says when Charlotte got into the match, she needed a new dream. And so Carmella, goes on to say, the whole shit that she says, where she's like, oh, I beat Charlotte twice. And, Charlotte ends up cutting Carmella off. And she ends up saying the lies and the cheating ends at SummerSlam. And, she tells Carmella why no one respects her, why no one respects Carmella, because all that Carmella did was, do all the stops to retain the title, to retain the Women's Championship. And also Charlotte ended up bringing up, Carmella bringing back Ellsworth, to stop Asuka from winning the Women's Championship. And so Paige ends up coming out and says that the WWE Universe owes Carmella a thank you for her losing to Charlotte and setting up the triple threat. And Paige goes on to say she knows that all three of them are going to steal the show. And Paige tells Carmella to go to the commentary table, go on commentary, because Paige then announces that Charlotte and Becky will be in a tag team match against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And so pretty much that ended the opening to SmackDown. But it was a good, it was a decent opening to SmackDown. Hopefully, I do hope that Becky Lynch, walks out of SummerSlam, the SmackDown Women's Champion. But I know that possibly WWE is going to give it to Charlotte once again. But yeah, I hope Becky, wins it. But a lot of people say, you know, Becky, you know, could turn heel, could have a heel turn at SummerSlam and turn on Charlotte. So, but yeah, it was a decent opening to SmackDown. So then we had Charlotte and Becky versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. This was, of course, tag team match. This was a decent match. Charlotte and Becky, really enjoyed them. You know, being partners in the tag when they have a tag team match. And Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, you know, they're decent. Mandy Rose has gotten a little bit better in ring. So, but Carmella, of course, was on commentary during the match. And Charlotte and Becky ended up getting the win. Becky Lynch applied the disarmer on Mandy Rose to score the win for her and Charlotte. So, but overall, it was a decent match. Then we had Charlotte and Becky backstage, and Charlotte ends up telling Becky, SummerSlam is going to be amazing, and she ends up telling Becky, good luck. So that was the backstage little segment with Charlotte and Becky. Then we had this was going to be a handicap match. It was the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, versus these jobbers. And the match never really got started because the Bludgeons ended up beating up these jobbers. Pretty much, basically, it was the Bludgeon Brothers sending a message to the New Day for the match this upcoming Sunday at SummerSlam. So that's what pretty much this whole thing was. It was just, the Bludgeons sending a message to the New Day. So that was that. And then throughout the night, throughout SmackDown, we had a 3-part video package with Daniel Bryan and The Miz. It was 8 years in the making, because this whole Daniel Bryan Miz feud has been going on for 8 years, since 2010, since Daniel Bryan was a pro on NXT. If you remember, way before NXT became its own brand, it was a competition show where these new rookies would come in, and these rookies would be assigned with a pro who was a WWE superstar. And so Daniel Bryan was one of the rookies during that first season of that NXT in 2010. So part one of this package with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, it looked at Daniel Bryan's time in NXT, and when Miz was when The Miz was was Daniel Bryan's pro, and it took us through that that time with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, there in NXT. And it just went right from there. It was good. It was good first part to this 3-part package that they did tonight. To hype up their match at SummerSlam. So basically, it was the first part was just NXT when Daniel Bryan was down there. But really enjoyed it. Then we had the New Day versus Sanity. This was a 6-man tag team match, and this was a good match. This was an enjoyable match. And today it's Kofi Kingston's birthday, and the crowd was cheering happy birthday to him. So, but like I said, the match, it was good. It was, in my opinion, the best match of the night. The New Day, very entertaining in this match. You know, any match that the New Day is in, it's gonna be a good match when they're put up against a tag team. And they ended up winning the match, the New Day. For New Day, it was, all three of them. New Day won the match. It was Biggie and I think it was Xavier. They ended up hitting the up, down, down on Killian and Dain to score the win. So once again, Sanity has another loss, which sucks. It's like on Raw, AOP, Authors of Pain. They've been on a losing streak. Come to SmackDown, Sanity also on a losing streak. I'm like, why'd you bring them up if you knew that you were going to make them lose? I don't know. Both teams should have still been down in NXT. Yeah, they should never got rid of Paul Ellering. Take him away from AOP, because without him, AOP is nothing. So, but yeah, Sanity losing again. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But overall, the match itself, it was good. It was match of the night, in my opinion. Then we had part 2 of the Daniel Bryan and Miz package, where it was called Talking Smack, where it went into Daniel Bryan when he made his retirement announcement on Raw 2 years ago, and talked about when he became the general manager of SmackDown, and it was throughout these 3 packages, Miz was just trashing Daniel Bryan. And this one, Miz ended up calling Daniel Bryan the worst general manager of SmackDown, because it showed when Daniel Bryan was announced, the GM of SmackDown. They also show when Daniel Bryan walked out on that episode of Talking Smack, when Miz was talking all that crap to Daniel, and Daniel, didn't want to hear it no more. So Daniel Bryan ended up walking off, and Miz cut that really awesome promo, and pretty much, and he mentions how Daniel Bryan also mentioned here how when he was retired and unable to compete, how Miz was stealing his moves, the yes kicks. So, but it was another good part to this whole package. Then after that, we had Paige. She ends up knocking on Samoa Joe's locker room door. Joe comes out, and Paige says to him that he refused to have a chance to address the crowd tonight, to address the crowd tonight separately. And Joe ends up telling Paige that he's shy, and Paige tells him, he doesn't want him, she doesn't want Joe ruining her main event between him and Styles, and that Joe needs to be professional. And Joe says, Paige wasn't looking for a professional when she offered him the shot. And Joe says he promises that he'll do what he damn well, pleases when he wants. and he ends up saying, you know, Paige and the WWE Universe will have to deal with the consequences. You know, or if not, he could sit back and relax and take advantage of all his hard work. And pretty much that was the backstage segment with Paige and Joe, but it was a good one. You know, hyped up to see Joe and Styles go at it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to their match. Then Roman and Lesnar once again. Then we had Aiden English was in the ring. He was singing, saying all bad things must come to an end, and that, you know, he has to make amends, and that he says he caused a break, and that, you know, he's going to make Andrade pay, and that, you know, he's going to fight for Rusev Day. And so then we got to the match. Andrade, Cien, Almas versus Aiden English. This match was, you know, okay. Wasn't great or perfect by any means, but Andrade continues to impress. Of course, Zelina Vega was out there. Andrade ended up getting the win. He ended up hitting the Hammerlock DDT on Aiden English to score the win. And after the match, Zelina gets on the mic and says, Sunday at SummerSlam, it will be the end of Lana Day. Because she's going to expose Lana for what she is. And she ends up saying that Lana is a dead weight dragging down her husband. And so Rusev and Lana come out. Rusev says to Andrade that his luck will run out this Sunday. And Zelina will learn why Lana is the best and why Lana is number one. And so the crowd just starts going, you know, Lana is best, Lana is number one. And Lana says together, you know, Lana says, you know, both her and Rusev together will crush Andrade and Zelina, because SummerSlam will fall on Rusev Day. So, but their match is going to be on the pre-show, the 2-hour pre-show. So, but overall, Andrade versus Aiden English, it was okay. Wasn't great. Wasn't a great match by any means. Then we had AJ Styles comes and visits Paige in her office. Paige says, you know, she needs both him and Joe to stay professional tonight and to not jeopardize their match at SummerSlam. So then after that we had the last part of the Daniel Bryan and Miz package, where the last part was called Homecoming, where, you know, it was where they showed a video where Daniel Bryan was cleared to return to the ring. Showed him, you know, his WrestleMania return, where he took on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens along with Shane, who was his tag team partner. So, but I enjoyed all three parts of this package with Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Basically, you know, saying, you know, hyping up, you know, their match at SummerSlam, and, you know, saying that at SummerSlam, you know, they're gonna do this and this. So, but really enjoyed both parts. Really enjoyed all three parts. Then we had Jeff Hardy returning to action. You know, since he wasn't here last week, so Jeff Hardy returns. You know, he ended up taking on Shelton Benjamin, which the match itself, it was okay. Wasn't great by any means, but Shelton Benjamin, he has been used on SmackDown since God knows when. Can't remember the last time that Shelton Benjamin was on a SmackDown. So, but Jeff Hardy, of course, ended up getting the win. Ended up hitting the twist of fate on Shelton Benjamin. Then after the match, Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. Shelton Benjamin tries to distract Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy ends up knocking Shelton Benjamin off the apron of the ring. Nakamura comes in and knees Jeff, and Nakamura ends up ends up trying to go for the Kinshasa, but Jeff Hardy ends up hitting the twist of fate and the Swanton Bomb on Nakamura. And that's that's how it ended, after the match. And then we just see Randy Orton watches, from behind, like he was being like a creeper, behind the Titantron, or behind the stage. And yeah, there's news about Orton that came out, where these new WWE writers. This happened back in the day, like I think around 2005, from what I heard, where WWE had new writers, and Randy Orton said, oh, he didn't like what they were doing, what they were writing for him, and so Randy Orton wanted them to change some ideas, and he said he will let them touch his junk, his penis, and it was it's a crazy story that happened back in the day, that an article came out of that, and they said WWE is read an article that said WWE is looking into that matter. So so that was what was going on with Randy Orton back in the day, and now they bring it up. But all in all, Jeff Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin, it was an okay match. It was wasn't a great match by any means. And then we had the main event segment. AJ Styles comes out, and he says, he's blessed for over 20 years to compete around the world, and he's learned a lot. The crowd was, of course, cheering for him. A big pop that Styles always gets. And Styles says, Joe hit his pressure, and he says, Joe is a mastermind. And it started when, Joe blindsided him. And Styles says Joe stabbed him in the back and in the heart. Styles says, Joe got him to lose his cool, and that he got him to talk about his family. And he says, he wanted to go to a place where he can rip Joe's head off. And so Joe comes out and says that what Styles is saying is not true, because Styles was talking about family and promises. And so Joe says whatever Styles was saying is not true, and Joe wants to keep Styles' promise, and he ends up holding up a letter from a member of the WWE Universe, and he reads it, and the person who wrote the letter, wants Joe to win at SummerSlam. And the person is revealed, who wrote the letter, is proven to be written from AJ's wife, I think, Wendy Styles. And that's crazy. That was a really crazy way to end SmackDown. It ended it on a cliffhanger, because right when Joe revealed the name, SmackDown just went off the air. But I have to say, that letter could have been written by Joe, could have been written by Samoa Joe to get more into AJ Styles' head. Or, you know, Styles' wife, you know, possibly could have written it. But you know, it's either both of those scenarios. So, but it was a crazy end to SmackDown, you know, with the whole reveal of that. So, but yeah, really looking forward to their match at SummerSlam. So, yes. Anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and till next video, which will possibly be my Lucha Underground review, if I could, you know, get that up, because, you know, it's going to be a busy week with SummerSlam, you know, this weekend, and, you know, I'm just going to be hanging out with some of my friends, my wrestling friends, down there in downtown Brooklyn. So it's going to be a crazy week. Who knows, you know, if I can get up a Lucha Underground review of tomorrow night's episode. But one could hope. So, but yeah, so thank you all for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.